Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures. Today we're going to be reviewing this 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. I think Nissan has done an excellent job on redesigning the exterior of it. It looks a little more boxy, a little more angled, rather than the jelly bean shape of the previous generation Pathfinder. And it is a little bit reminiscent for me of a Ninja Turtle truck, but maybe that's just the green. This is a pre-production model, so there are going to be a few little quirks and things that they're still working out, or maybe they've already got them worked out, but not when they made this one. It's powered by a 3.5 liter V6 and a 9-speed automatic transmission, which is a good thing to hear. It doesn't have a CVT, it's got an actual 9-speed auto. You can see here the fog lights are on, but you have to have the headlights on. Most Nissans are that way. It does come very well equipped, and we'll look over all that stuff later, but so far really enjoyed driving this vehicle. Let's take a look under the hood. Under the hood, we have the 3.5 liter V6 with 284 horsepower and 259 foot-pounds of torque. Yes, this is a fairly large vehicle for that amount of power and torque, but with the 9-speed, it actually does quite well, and it has a fairly high towing capacity as well. It goes up to, I believe, 6,000 pounds, depending on how it's equipped. So it can tow a decent amount from this little V6, or large V6, I guess. Climbing into it, it's pretty hard to see because of the reflection there, but these are illuminated kick plates that say Pathfinder, and they're lit up behind it there. Go ahead and fire it up. All right. So I haven't been able to find the traction control button yet, but we'll get into that for the off-road portion of the video. Starting from left to right, here are the window switches, and they're all automatic. So you push it and let it go, and it's an automatic one. If you hit the lock button, you can still roll down the windows. And the rear windows don't go all the way down, they go close. That's as far as it goes. There you go. So I'm actually seeing this a lot more, where even when you lock out the other windows so the passengers can't roll the windows up and down, the driver's still able to do that. This is the third vehicle I've had with those, but that's a really nice addition. It does have power folding mirrors, and then of course power adjust, and your lock switches all the way up there. This one has the memory seats. Right here is to adjust the brightness of your displays. And then this is your steering assist, which keeps you centered in your lane, and it does a really good job of staying centered. You just have to keep your hands on the wheel. They don't want you thinking this is a self-driving vehicle, but honestly, a lot of that capability is there. Open the rear hatch, and then the head-up display, which you can barely see right there. As you go through different things, turn on the cruise control, you'll get more features up there, and we'll talk about that in the on-road. So that button down there right here just turns that head-up display on and off. Normal stuff here, you have paddle shifters, the lights and fog lights right there, and then of course pull it to turn the brights on and off. Radio controls, and then here you have the menu buttons, and you can sort through. That one's the shortcuts, and then you can scroll with this. And then if you're on this screen, you push the left and right arrows to go side to side, and you can scroll up and down. So this is like the safety screen. It shows all your blind spot monitor, forward collision, lane keep assist, all that stuff. Shows you what's turned on, what's not. Trip meter, I'm actually getting 23.7 miles per gallon over the last 70 miles, and the average is 25 miles per gallon over the last 900 miles. So I tried not to reset that one, just to keep how it is. Let me go back to there. And then this is just your current MPG. Right here shows how much power is going to the wheels, and we'll talk about that in the driving section. It does change. So I did go to sand mode, and it was a near 50-50 split. And the other off-road modes were like a 25% to the rear, 75% to the front. But even like sport mode would hardly do anything to the rear and keep most of it in the front. That's the tire pressure. There's the compass, radio, and that's all the features on there. This side of the steering wheel is your cruise control, and this is the safety feature. So I haven't figured out a way to turn on the cruise control without the adaptive cruise control being on. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I'm going to go into the settings right now and see what I can find. But anyway, this is to set your cruise control and adjust the speed. That's to adjust how far you are from the car in front of you. And then that turns on the adaptive cruise control. Over here we do have heated and cooled seats, and they work quite well. Physical buttons for all the climate control as it should be. Up here, physical buttons for the radio. Here on the infotainment system, you do have a few options, but overall it seems to be kind of a basic system. So you can change what shows up there on the home screen, whatever. I'm not going to go through all that right now, but you have the audio menu, the map, and of course surround view cameras. And I really do like these cameras. They are very clear in comparison to some other vehicles I've been in. This is the front facing one, but if you do put it in reverse, then you get the rear camera. There you go. Speaking of shifting to reverse, so on this thing, it's been in a few vehicles now, but pull down to go to drive, push up to go to reverse, and then hold it halfway to go to neutral. Push that for park. It does have an electronic parking brake. Pull it up to set it, push it down to turn it off, and the auto hold, which keeps it, you push on the brake, once you come to a stop, it'll hold you at a stop until you push on the gas again. Right here's your drive mode selector. This is normal, eco, sport, tow haul, and then going the other way, snow, mud and ruts, and sand. And then right there, the auto stop start. Underneath in here, we have wireless charging, and you'll see once it gets going, that light comes on right there. And I like that feature. Many of them don't have a light letting you know that it's on, but this one makes it very clear when you're connected and when you're not. 2 USB ports back there and a 12 volt right there. Up top, we do have a non-functioning sunroof. Like I said, this is a pre-production model. All these issues won't show up in the production models, but yeah, that one's not working right now. I had one day where the radio wasn't working, so anyway, it does have a full panorama moonroof, sunroof there. My sunglasses actually fit in here, so my Tifosi Jets are in there right now. I like to see that. A lot of vehicles now seem to be adding a little bit more space for the sunglasses. Right here, Pathfinder for the center console, and there's a decent amount of storage in there. That's pretty deep, as a coin holder right there. And you do get 2 cup holders here in the front, and then of course the doors down low have additional 4 bottles. Let's move back to the middle row. Before we climb into the rear seat, here's the rear door. Has kind of 2 spots for bottles there and 2 more up here, and those are actually quite deep. So about 3/4 of my hand can fit in there. Does have window shades. And this is the Platinum trim, so it's kind of the highest end model. I don't know if they have a Platinum Reserve, or maybe if this one has the Reserve package, I'm not sure. Sorry, it's gonna be a little dark. I'll turn on my phone light here, but you do have a climate control back here. I have it turned off on the front, so it's not working. Let me turn on the front. There we go. So you do have climate control back here, and the vents are actually up here, which is really nice. I don't know how many times I've had kids in car seats, and especially the rear facing car seats, if you have vents down here, you can't get air to the kids in the rear facing car seat. So when it's really hot out, it's kind of hard to cool them down, and oftentimes you'll get them out of the car seat and they'll be sweaty from, you know, just not being able to get air directly on them. But with the vents up here, you can adjust it and have the air blow right down onto them. So that's a nice feature to have. This one is equipped with additional USB and the 120 volt outlet right there, 150 watt, 3-prong plug. Center console here in the rear is pretty spacious and easily removable. So if you go down here to the front, there's that little handle, pop that off, and there's another little handle right there, and now you have access to the third row very easily, even if the middle row seats are up. So pretty cool there. It does have, I missed that, there we go. It does have the anchors, of course, for child seats, armrests, and the seats recline right here, and that also folds them down flat. So if you're just trying to fold the seat flat, hit that one, and now you have a flat, fairly flat load floor. It's totally sloped towards the rear of the vehicle, but fairly flat there. And then when the seat is up, you can, sorry, it takes two hands to lift it up because you have to unlock it. You can either push here and slide that forward so they're tilt and slide, or if you're in the rear seat, push there and it will tilt and slide. So pretty nice, easy features to get into. And then of course you do have the adjustment here, so there's plenty of room in this. Like I said, tons of room. Even if I slide the seat almost all the way forward, I have plenty of room there. And then let's climb into the third row, and we'll use this button up here. And see if the seat will stop where it was. Nope, it comes all the way back. So that's one thing I don't like, is I had moved the seat forward manually. I wonder if I can actually, oh, I can, cool. So if I stop the seat from moving, right there where it says don't put your feet, put my feet on those, it will allow me to stop it from coming all the way back. And I think you can still move the seat forward a little bit more from where it is right here, but at least now I have enough room to fit back here. And each side has USB ports and 2 cup holders. It is symmetrical, so get the same thing on the other side. And I don't know if this seat reclines more. So with the seat up, you can have it recline more, either by pulling this lever up here on the top, or by pulling the string on the back. You do have to manually fold the headrests when you're folding the rear seats, but not bad. And you still do have anchors for the rear seats, and those are in all 3. So maybe you could fit 3 car seats back here. I really doubt it. So it's not quite wide enough, but if you wanted to put a child in the middle, you could do that, or on either side in the rear. Getting out, just hit the button there, and easy enough. Moving to the cargo area, we still have the same issue that many other vehicles have, and that is that this rear glass does not open separate from the rest of the vehicle. There we go. Sorry, I locked it first instead of, it has the 2 buttons there. So I hit the one that locked it instead of the one that opens it. Now I'll go ahead and fold this seat. I wonder, so Not folding to those. Oh, that's to lift it up. There we go. So the only way to adjust the seat is with this. This one is just so you can reach it and pull the seat back up. Once those are folded, you do have tie-down points up here on each side and in the back on each side. This one's equipped with the first aid kit, just velcros onto the side. You do have grocery hooks there on both sides. Underneath, a decent amount of storage down here, and this is the cargo net. And then to get to the spare tire, it's a little bit tricky, and I may do a separate video on this entirely, but first of all, you have this cap, you untwist it, and then underneath this paper is the mechanism to lower your spare tire. The spare tire sits underneath the vehicle, so you have to crank it, use the little winch system, hand winch that it has to lower it down. But to get to your tools, pull out these dividers, you have to pull out this. So there is the jack and the tools for it underneath, kind of tucked away back in there. So if you're looking for your jack, can't figure out where it is behind this cover. All right. And this one does have the rubberized floor cover, cargo cover. I like this a lot, and it is actually pretty nice. It works just fine, doesn't bind on the seats or anything. I've raised and lowered those seats a bunch of times and had no problem at all. To close it, you do have the two options here. That one just closes it, that closes it and locks it, but also it's really easy to close it just pulling it down. A lot of them with those motors in there make it fairly hard to do, but this one is easy and it stays really well wherever you set it, so I like that. Go ahead and close it there. Like I said, these can tow up to 6,000 pounds, and it's just a 2-inch receiver back here with the 7-pin wiring pre-wired. And another thing I do like, I think, is that it's not covered. So there's no hitch cover back here, but apparently it has the option where you wave your foot and it will open the rear. And I don't know if that was from this camera. I assume it was. Anyway, a lot of them have the covers back there, and with those, many times this is tucked way underneath, and you can see here that it still is tucked back in there a little bit. So some hitches, especially on a vehicle this low, you need to be in the rise. As it comes up, you're going to be really close to hitting your bumper, but I think there is actually enough clearance there so you don't have that issue. I didn't even know it had the tailgate lift or whatever lift gate system to lift it up, but apparently if you wave your foot, it's not going to do it now because I've been away from the vehicle. So if you walk away, walk up to it, wave your foot, there you go. Kind of cool. Again, as a pre-production model, we don't have a regular Monroney, but we do have a little bit here. So 3.5 liter direct injection V6, 284 horsepower, 259 foot-pounds of torque, 9-speed automatic with manual paddle shifters. Base price for this 2022 Pathfinder Platinum 4-wheel drive is $48,090. The only options this thing has are illuminated kick plates and welcome lighting for $795, and captain's chair floor mats, bringing it a total with destination to $50,290. This one does have that cargo mat in the back. I imagine that's an extra, but maybe that just comes with this Platinum. So the Platinum trim, obviously very, very well equipped. And if that's really all the extras it has, then yeah, that's an excellent price. $50,000 for this vehicle, I would say, is a bargain. So, under hard acceleration, getting on the freeway, and again, maybe 75% front, 25% rear. But we'll see how that does in the off-road video. Maybe it goes 50-50 split. We'll have to check that out. Going from a full stop, I'm not brake torquing. And 3, 2, 1, go. A little bit of wheel slip, 50-50 power distribution now. 75-25, that's front to rear. 60 miles an hour. So when the wheels slipped, this is in auto mode also. When the wheels slipped initially, it kind of took a second, engaged the four-wheel drive, turned on the traction control a little bit. So I believe I could do a better run. I'm sure I can, but I would have to maybe switch to sport mode or maybe one of the off-road modes where the all-wheel drive system is just engaged anyway. Much better launch that time. I'm in sport mode. 60. That was much better. So in sport mode, the all-wheel drive engaged immediately. There was maybe a fraction of wheel slip. I just barely heard it, but not even enough for the traction control to come on. So that did really well. Here we are in the S-curves, currently clear on this corner. I'm in sport mode, but it still seems to be doing like 100% power to the front wheels. Man, it's understeer even on the brake. This is a big vehicle. Got a little bit of oversteer there. If you can get the brake just right, you can induce the oversteer. It's not bad. I mean, geez, it loses traction pretty quick, but it's wet out, so obviously it's not going to be as grippy. So it really didn't do too bad. The understeer seemed to be a little worse than in most vehicles. It took a kind of a more perfect amount of braking to get it to rotate over into oversteer. Driving this new Pathfinder using all of the driving aids is quite interesting. It does really well. So I can lift my hands off the steering wheel and it keeps it centered in the lane if you turn on the steering assist. You do need to keep your hands on the wheel because it'll get mad at you eventually, and it really doesn't take too long for it to get mad at you before it starts giving alerts saying you need to hold the wheel. But it also has adaptive cruise control, keeps the distance from the car in front of you. I have never really trusted those systems, so I was in traffic on my way home from work one day and I had that system on. It started to brake a little bit, but I didn't feel like it was braking fast enough, so I manually took over. As soon as I touched the brakes, it shuts the system off, and then I was in control from there on, but had to reactivate the system again. So I haven't had the courage to let the car stop itself from full speed, you know, on the freeway coming to almost a dead stop. We were going 5 or 10 miles an hour. But other than that, I've been able to pretty much let it drive itself. So it's been a really good system overall. There've been a few little sections here on the freeway. We have a couple of overpasses as you're going over. They have a fairly large bump and it kind of changes pitch, I guess, on the road. So side to side it changes, and it kind of confused the system. Kept me within my lane, but instead of being centered, it was really close to the edge. And of course, you're supposed to have your hands on the steering wheel the whole time, so I was already there and able to make the adjustments before it left the lane. I'm not sure if it would have left the lane, but I did have to make some adjustments to feel comfortable with it. And that's kind of my feeling with all of these systems. This one does seem to be very effective, but I still just don't have the confidence in it to know that it's actually going to do what it should do. And that's not just Nissan, that's everybody. It's fairly smooth, fairly quiet in here. I do have some of the seats down, so it's a little bit louder than it would be if you had all the seats up, but overall it's really not bad. I don't know how well the head-up display appears on camera, but it does show the speed limit, the current speed, and it shows what the cruise control is set at there on the bottom. The green steering wheel is the steering assist that you can turn on and off. And then the green lines on the side are the lanes that it's picked up, but it also has the lane departure warning, and those will turn orange if you drive across them. And then the car in front of us, it shows that there is a car in front of us, but it's a ways off, and you can adjust the distance there and see it on the head-up display to see your set distance from the car in front of you. And interesting enough, to activate cruise control, use the Nissan safety suite here, this button, to turn it on and off, and then set it, of course, with these ones. But it just kind of took me a second to find that I needed to push this one to set the cruise control. One thing I find interesting is you see that crease on the hood, and I know I talked about this earlier, but that crease right near the very back of the hood will reflect the sun into your eyes. So I haven't had that happen with this vehicle, but I know the 2017 GMC 3500 that we use at work has that. So you can kind of see right in there the change in the angle of the hood, and that's what I'm talking about. If you get the sun at the right angle, it reflects off of that and into your eyes. And I've noticed it a lot on the GMC. It's a steeper angle on that GMC, and it's a little bit further forward because it's kind of at the back of the hood scoop. But it still has that effect. So that's something to be aware of. Might be a little annoying sometimes. And that's kind of the biggest thing, is it's more of a nuisance than an actual issue, but it's there either way. To turn off traction control, you scroll through this screen till you get to that settings, and then right there at the top, VDC setting, and you can turn that off or on. When you turn it off, it turns off traction control and the pre-collision alert and all that stuff, automatic braking. So I did not notice this till after we had done the small articulation hill, so we might try this again. We'll see what we can do. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2022 Nissan Pathfinder Platinum. This one is all-wheel drive. We'll get into the off-road video if you haven't seen that yet. It'll be up soon. And it is quite a very nice vehicle to drive on the road. Easy to use, plenty of room for 6 passengers, maybe even 6 adults if you are not carrying people that are too tall. It is a decent vehicle for fuel mileage. It's been getting about 24 for me, which is, interestingly enough, as good as the Kia Sportage, which is much smaller than this, and about on par with the Chevy Blazer, which is also a little bit smaller than this. So overall, it's quite a nice vehicle. The 9-speed auto works really well. This is a pre-production model. I just wanted to reiterate that, so anything you saw in the video that was not quite lined up right or didn't function quite properly, that's because this is pre-production. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, and give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment down below and let me know why. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.